Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second episode of Can We Talk About It? And today's podcast is entitled Access Denied. We're going to be talking about emotional access. We have all been in a relationship where we were hurt, disrespected, manipulated, disappointed, angry, or discombobulated. But do you know why we experience one or more of these emotions? Well, it's because we have given others the three main ingredients to use against us: trust, access, and control. The first element we give others is trust. Trust is hope or the expectation of another person. We expect or hope that the person we trust will do right by us and not take advantage of us, especially if we're in a vulnerable situation. And oftentimes we put our trust in the wrong person and we find ourselves living with disappointment and shame because we have allowed someone to manipulate us. As older generation may say, we let somebody make a fool out of us. However, that brings us to the second element, which is access. When you trust someone, it's easy to give them access to your emotions without realizing it. We let them into our lives, but mainly our hearts. Access is a point of entry, whether physically or spiritually. You are allowing someone access to come into your personal or private space because you trust them. And once they have obtained access, now they have the third element, which is control. Control is defined as the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. This means that now you have given others your trust to access and control your emotions based on your relationship with that person, whether it be a physical or personal relationship. And that's true. Every relationship carries some level of trust. The more you trust a person, then the more access you give them and the more power they take. When we bring trust, access, and control together, they form the most powerful weapon we possess that we unknowingly hand over to others, and that is the key or a key. A key is a small metal instrument used to gain access to a locked area. That's its physical meaning. In a spiritual setting, from an emotional standpoint, a key is defined as emotional access. And emotional access affects the heart. You know, my son said something to me years ago that I would never forget. And this podcast is dedicated to him. I was upset about something that someone had said to me or did to me. I can't remember which. And his words were, "Mom, stop giving people access to your emotions." He said, "I refuse to let people make me feel any emotion I do not want to feel." He said, "If I laugh, it's because I want to laugh. If I cry, it's because I want to cry. If I'm angry, it's because I want to be angry." He said, "I refuse to feel anything that someone else wants me to feel without my permission." And I found that so profound. That conversation resonated with me for years, and it still resonates with me today in my spirit. Jeremiah 17:9, King James Version states, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" And that's so true. You don't know what another person's intent is. You don't know what is in the content of their heart. But when we trust people, we trust them to the extent where we open ourselves up to be hurt by them, manipulated, emotionally. Because why? We trust them, so we have given them access to our heart, our mind, our life. We have ultimately given them the key that they need to manipulate our emotions. So if you find this content in this podcast helpful, inspirational, and informative, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a comment. We love to hear from you. God bless you and have a wonderful day.